Coming to you live from the Cube, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and welcome to Boundless Human Stupidity. Stuck in here with me this week. First, he's got a pretty fine collection of pornography. It's Chris.
I do.
I didn't think he would admit it, but yes. And secondly, I think he's mentally handicapped. It's Andy.
That's not a line.
It's a line. It is absolutely a line from this film. I think it's the first thing Quentin says when we meet Kazan. I think certainly one of the first things a character says about another character is that line. We are the 10 Point Podcast. You can find us at 10pointpodcast.com, and you can find us on all of your normal places you would find a podcast. This is probably where you're listening to us right now. You can get us on Spotify, on all your Apples and Amazons and all that sort of stuff. Speaking of Spotify, you can see video versions of the podcast there. Us with our colourful rooms behind us from the Cube.
Green room.
This is the green room. I'm in the kind of, I don't know, rose.
I'm technically in a red room.
And you're in a red room, yeah, I would say. All the backgrounds and all that, video versions on YouTube as well, on the 10 Point Broadcast over on YouTube. Just type 10 Point Podcast into the internet. You'll find us, one of our reviews, or our Chinese equivalent pretending to be us, or whatever it is.
I don't think they've done a new episode in the last couple of weeks. So.
Right, okay. But one way or another, you'll see or hear us speaking about.
Yeah. Shut them down.
Speaking, or you'll see us talking about the most recent movie of the week, and also our highlights of the past weeks. Before we get into the point of the podcast this week, Andy, what was your highlight of the week? You've told me you've got a good one for us.
Right. Well, my main highlight I'll get to, but the first highlight is I watched Champions, which was the whole reason why I did The Ringer before a couple of weeks ago.
Right. Woody Harrelson coaching a team of champions, or whatever it was.
Yeah. So basically, don't watch The Ringer, watch Champions is my review of that film.
Right. Is it good? Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing. It's my new feel-good movie. When I want to watch it, like when I'm feeling a little bit down, whatever, I'm putting that on. That film's going to cheer me right up.
Good.
It is everything I expected from The Ringer, because I thought The Ringer was full of like mentally handicapped people and like just a fun comedy type thing. Whereas we kind of established that Johnny Knoxville isn't very great in it, but the people that are actually special needs are good, but the people that are not special needs are actually even better at playing people that are not special needs.
Right, exactly, yeah.
That was our kind of review. Whereas The Champions actually is literally Woody Harrelson and a team of basketball players that are full special needs. And as far as I can tell, I'm 99.9% sure that they've all got special needs. And they're absolutely brilliant. I mean, there's some scenes where you just watch like Woody Harrelson interacting with them, and you can tell it's probably like their 100th take because somebody said something like absolutely hilarious, and they're all still just crying or laughing. You just see like watching the film, it just looks like everybody had a brilliant time filming this.
So is it a comedy or is it just like a funny sort of drama?
No, it's definitely a comedy. Like I would say, it's on a comedy scale. I mean, what it's about is obviously like is dramatized, but yeah, there's funny bits in it all the way through. Woody Harrelson. He's probably the least funny of them. Like everybody else is funny. It's like they literally have everybody that's like got special needs in it, and it's not just like Down syndrome, whereas like the kind of Ringer was. This actually has like maybe 2 Down syndrome people, but then it has people that have like it's had accidents and stuff like that.
I see, okay.
So they're like their brains are not functioned or they're not developed or they've been dropped as a kid or whatever. But it explains everything.
Ah, okay. So
and it's just like because one of them is just like. He's a bit weird, and I was like, but then like they explain like he was dropped as a kid, and as far as I can tell, my research is he was dropped in the head as a kid, and that's what stopped his brain development. It's just, but yeah, absolutely brilliant. Watch that.
Good, there you go. There's a recommendation.
However, unfortunately, it did come out the same weekend as John Wick.
Ah, John Wick. Is that out? Is that I missed that?
Yeah. Oh my god, what a film! So that was 2 hours 55 minutes
long
of now it. Might not please everybody, but it pleased me, of non-stop action. Now, I mean, they've obviously set this film up for 3 films. We're putting the story in. So by the time you get to the 4th one, you know what's happening. You don't need a story. You know what John Wick's about to do. And they just do that. I mean, Keanu Reeves maybe says less than 20 lines.
I saw a number count. It's like 100 and something words or something like that. He says in it.
There is literally, he does not talk in it at all. And like, there's not many people that talk. Like even Ian McShane or whatever he's called, he doesn't have a lot to say. Like any other character in this film, they'll say something, and it's just enough to drive that story forward a little bit. And then you just go into a full-blown, I mean, I shit you not, there was one action sequence that I think it lasts for 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
And it was just like I was just like, I can't take my eyes off of it. It's brilliant. Like Donnie Yen's brilliant. Like there's not a bad person in this. Even what you call him, old Pennywise, absolutely brilliant. Thingy Skarsgård,
Absolutely.
younger Skarsgård. Like
Bill?
anytime, yeah, I think it's Bill. But anytime somebody's on screen, I'm just like hooked, and it's like, right, I paid attention to what you're doing. Oh my god, there's a bunch of more shooting, there's more guns, there's more this, there's more weapons. They've even got a Call of Duty weapon in it that annoys the shit out of me and Chris. There's a whole scene with that weapon in it. Absolutely fantastic.
I have heard nothing but good things about it, and everybody has said what you said. Especially, I've heard Donnie Yen mentioned a lot. That
Donnie Yen, like he plays a blind dude, and he does it in such perfect. Like there's a couple of bits that are like it's a bit too cheesy for him being a blind guy, but it's just simple things where he's a blind guy, he's got a gun, but he does like something like he does that. He puts like guns under people's heads, but you can see him do that to find the middle. But he does it like super fast, so it's just like
right, yeah.
And then it's little subtleties when he's like fighting as a blind person. I mean, I reckon how he got that role was we had a blind person, a blind Asian man. And he's like, oh, I've done that before.
Yeah.
Send in Rogue One reel.
Yeah.
Because he basically plays the same character as he does in Rogue One.
Does he say, I am one with the Force is with me at any point? In it?
I was waiting for it, honestly. But like even just watching these like 45-minute fight scenes, just watching John at the end do things, and it was just like I said, subtleties of just like you can see him go past and then just brings it right back in the middle and bang. And he's just doing it rapid, kind of like what was that film we were doing before? It was like, Seagal.
That's right, Seagal, yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit, Donnie Yen doing that, like, but blind. Oh, amazing. But Chantel like came out of it, she was like, some of them scenes were a bit long. I was like, no, they weren't. They were perfect.
They weren't long enough.
And like you could see Keanu Reeves is doing like 90% of his own stunts in that film. It's brilliant. Watch it. That's the high recommendation. I'm doubling down on that.
Yeah, a thumbs up and a double thumbs up there from Andy. Chris's highlight of the week is my highlight of the week, so I'm just going to let Chris take it on.
I'm also taking this as a highlight of the week, but I'm giving you it.
Right, okay, on you go, Chris.
The latest episode of Mandalorian. Oh, back to being best after that shit show it was last week.
I said you were going to let you talk, but I already need to interrupt. After about a third of this episode, I was like, why is there so much Andor in my Mandalorian? And then the next scene, he flew and landed and started speaking to the Mandalorian.
I started worrying. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like, I tune in for this. I want to see Grogu do some stuff. And I'm not seeing Grogu do some stuff. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's going to be one of these episodes again. I don't give a shit what that Imperial woman's doing. I don't care. Give me fucking Mando and Grogu.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on, Chris.
No, it's nice to see another like gunfight, like a proper decent gunfight, and I don't know. It seems to be more about Bo-Katan being the Mandalorian, not Mando being the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really turned into a side character in this thing.
And then Grogu's like well down here. Like, you talk about not seeing him, but 3 scenes in this episode.
So I've done some research on this, right? Now apparently, Grogu was not meant to be in the season at all.
Right, that makes sense.
Right, so he's not meant to be in it at all, and apparently Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni wanted to like basically walk out and basically said, "We've got our story." That's why Grogu was meant to be left with Luke, and he was meant to be left with him for at least a season or 2.
Yeah.
Then he was to come back, but Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm, the director, basically said, "No, he needs to be in it.
He's the star of the show."
And they were like, "Nope, trust us. We've got a story arc. We've got something to do." And apparently, she literally put her foot down, and Jon Favreau said, "No, I'm not fucking doing it." And then she basically got her way, and then Favreau's apparently got his way of he will do every single episode the way he wants to do them now, without her meddling. But he would put Grogu back into it, which is why the Book of Boba Fett happened, and there was 2 episodes of Mando in that.
And of course, the one episode where we all complained about was a different story. We still had Grogu in it, like he was still there. Like as per our deal, Grogu is in this episode.
And apparently, and that's why literally when you see like Grogu now, it kind of seems like he's off because they didn't write it, they didn't want him to do it. So they basically just have him like shots of just him reacting.
Yeah.
So apparently that is the rumors of why Grogu's a sideline character, and then they give him that one long episode where he gets in his little pod, and Favreau just put him in that just to go, right, shut the fuck up, women. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I felt this episode was especially good the second half because we got a big action spectacle. They paid off a storyline from earlier with a villain and all that, but then we got, this is why you've done this, so you're rewarded with that, and now we have the armor and the Bo-Katan scene, which was really good, and then that's progressed a bit forward, and that's now important, and now Bo's got to do this, and that's going to be important, and then then we get the bit at the end, and I'm like, what is this all about here? And then you find out the prison break at the end of the episode was a good little. This is why you need to keep watching. This is the hook, and we've only got 3 episodes to go. We've set this up nicely, and all.
I was just going to ask. It's only 3 left.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah. Until next year, but
yeah. I must admit though that the Millennium Falcon used to always steal the Star Wars like thing. When you see the Millennium Falcon, it's like shit's going down. That new modified Naboo Starfighter now is the new Millennium Falcon right there.
I see you see it bursting through the sky as well, and then as it flies past.
The scene where the guy was shouting, "He's above you, he's below you." It's called the M1, which I'm assuming stands for Mandalorian 1. And everyone just seems to have immediately adopted it. Even the bad guys were like, "I'm going to get the M1." It's like that's a name that Mando came up with like a month ago.
It's an N1.
Oh, N1. I thought it was M1. Like it's like this is my ship. It's now the Mandalorian 1.
No, it stands for N1 because it's the Naboo Starfighter.
Naboo number 1. That makes more sense that way then. Okay, but yeah,
well, we can call it an M1.
The M1. It's Mando's ship. Should be the M1. That's another thing. Randomly, the actress that plays Peli appeared on a TV show the day there, and I was like, "Oh my god, she's in all the things as well." It's like she's not gushing over Grogu. Her works on Peli works on the ship. They helped build it with Mando. I've never seen her on any other TV show ever, and it's just randomly. You're not a normal person. You're supposed to be in space somewhere. So she said it appeared.
Glee or something.
Could be. I never watched much of that, to be honest. So
it looks completely different.
Maybe. But anyway, that was my highlight of the week as well, so I don't have to talk about that. Which means we can now move on to point number 1 on the podcast. The point is, what's the point? What's the reason for us doing the podcast this week? The point is the 1997 mystery horror sci-fi drama Cube. Just Cube, not the Cube, not Cube 0, not Cube 2, or all the other cubes that we've got. Just Cube.
We'll go on to that.
Written by 3 writers, 1 writer-director. Or 2 writers, 1 writer-director. Andrei Bichelcic. He only really did this and has nothing else. Graham Manson. He also wrote on this. Wrote the show Rent-A-Goalie, which perked me up better. A Canadian hockey kind of TV show called Rent-A-Goalie. But he's the co-creator of the TV show Orphan Black and basically the creator/developer of Snowpiercer, the TV show. Which I know Andy.
I like that show.
Andy likes. And our final man, written and directed, was Cube by Vincenzo Natali, who did Cube, Cypher, Splice, and In the Tall Grass. They're the big 4 things that he had directed. Kind of recognise Cypher a little bit. Splice, I recognise the name of it. Yeah, but yeah, nothing too groundbreaking out of all those. Though people behind the camera, who was in front of the camera? Basically, in actor alphabetical order, our main 4. I deemed those kind of 4 main characters in the film. As Leven, Nicole DeBoer, whose name I recognised, but I couldn't place her until afterwards. Famous for Prom Night 4, Deliver Us from Evil, apparently. It was her big breakout role, I guess. Cube. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, though, is where I know her from. That's her most career peak, I would say. And then the Dead Zone television series, she's in that as well. They are the big thing she's in. I don't believe I'm missing anything out obvious from Nicole DeBoer. As Holloway, we have Nikki Guadagni, I think is how you pronounce her surname. Famous for being in Crash, the 1996 movie, i.e. the bad one, not the one that won the Oscar 8 years later that was also called Crash. Cube, something called Lars and the Real Girl, and she's also famous for a 2019 movie that we have covered on the podcast. Chris, did you get Nikki Guadagni for the 10 Point Podcast universe later on? Your look on your face tells me otherwise.
I've got her in something.
Not a 2019 movie that we did on the podcast, no?
I'll have to go back and check that.
What you're Googling, I'll just tell you the answer. She was in Ready or Not. She played the aunt in Ready or Not that told everyone about the curse.
We haven't done Ready or Not, have we?
Yeah, we've done Ready or Not. Yes, it's happened. Finally, Chris has forgotten a film we did on the podcast.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, she was
I'm still waiting for one of us to pick a film we've already done.
Oh, it'll happen at some point. Yeah, the old auntie that was like, she'd seen the previous games and she was kind of cursed. So we've done her before. Spoiler, but that was one of her big films, apparently. As Worth, we have David Hewlett. Go check out our Dog's Breakfast podcast because we talk about him in that one there. I won't really go through everything he's been in again because I don't know. I would say 10 Point Podcast's favourite, David Hewlett. I think we all gave him major props for Dog's Breakfast.
Yeah. I think it's the only thing you gave Dog's Breakfast a prop for was him.
It had ups and downs to Dog's Breakfast. I didn't hate it that much.
You hated the Scottish in it. The actual Scottish guy.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Paul McGillian with the worst accent of Scottish, apparently.
Him pretending to be his own aunt.
Exactly, a Scottish person being shit at a Scottish accent makes no sense.
Yeah. You try to do a Scottish accent.
That's what I'm doing now.
No, do a Glaswegian accent, go.
I have one, don't I? I don't know if I do.
All right, guys.
There you go.
Okay, nailed it.
Everybody I speak to actually sounds like that. And our fourth star, as Quentin, we have Morris Dean Wint, or if you're American, Maurice Dean Wint, famous for Cube, 9 episodes of the TV show Haven, a film called The Kid Detective, and he seems to currently be in all the episodes of a TV show called Surreal Estate. It's all one word, Surreal Estate. I can't say I've heard of it or know anything about it. They are our main 4 stars. I did some digging through the remaining 3 people in the cast. None of them are especially anything important. That would be like, oh, I should mention them there. So there are four main characters, 4 main stars. The film, on a budget of $365,000 Canadian dollars, not American dollars, Canadian dollars.
I was gonna say that's like $2 or something like that. American, isn't it?
I don't know what the exchange rate is now. Never mind 1997. So less than $500,000 Canadian dollars. Opened in the US first weekend, $57,000. US final gross, US this is, $500,000. So it actually made its money back in American cinemas alone. Final worldwide gross, $565,000. So they made $65,000. Well, there might be some numbers missing there. I don't know. But anyway, it seems to have made money, and as evidenced by there being at least 2 sequels, probably 10 sequels, one way or another, to this film. So yeah, on a very low budget, made a decent amount of money.
Actually, I don't remember any, like, what's the word? Like adverts for this film at all. Yeah.
No, like this film, like literally, I know of it because of Nicole DeBoer and David Hewlett. That is literally the reasoning, but mostly David Hewlett.
Well, it did come out 25th of December 1998 in the UK. I don't imagine you lads were particularly old at that point, considering I would be 13 and I'm older than you are. So you might not have seen much in the way of adverts when you were 9 years old, exactly. So, but however old you were, that might have something to do with it. It wasn't a massive film like The Lion King or something like that, so it wasn't going to be everywhere. It did release in the US on the 11th of September 1998, 3 years before 9/11, but on 9/11. So not that important to date yet. Meant, since it's a 97 film, spent basically 18 months being put into film festivals and actually didn't release till late 98. It qualifies for basically the 97 through 99 awards season. So a lot of coverage. 99 Oscars, which is the only one it was eligible for, no nominations. 99 Razzies, no nominations. 98 or 99 Movie Awards, MTV Movie Awards, no nominations. 99 Saturn Awards, 1 nomination at the Saturn Awards, out of nowhere. Nominated for Best Home Video Release at the 99 Saturn Awards. Lost to From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money. It's home video release. I don't know if that's solely home video or best video of any film. I don't know.
No, because Dusk Till Dawn 2 probably didn't get cinema release, so that probably was one of the direct-to-DVD things.
Yeah, so maybe there was like, this film didn't really... It only got a limited release in America. It still made a lot of money for a limited release, so I wonder if it was more of a, you're mainly home video, so we'll give you a home video. But yeah, it nominated for a Saturn Award. It won 13 awards in total at independent film festivals in Canada and in Europe. So it did win quite a lot of awards. A lot were first time director awards, first new movie awards, sort of things like that. And a couple were like your kind of genre movie awards as well. Synopsis of Cube, presented by either Dadrug, or Dadro OG, but it's all lowercase, all one word, so I don't know which one it is. So Dadrug. 6 different people, each from a very different walk of life, awaken to find themselves inside a giant cube with thousands of possible rooms. Each has a skill that becomes clear when they must band together to get out. A cop, a math whiz, a building designer, a doctor, an escape master, and a disabled man.
What a skill.
What a skill that was. Each plays a part in their thrilling quest to find answers as to why they've been imprisoned. that everybody? Was Alderson the guy at the beginning? Was he part of the team, or was that a
Well, see, I've always said that he is, because my theory of the cube is each one of them started around the safe one, where they all kind of accidentally met.
But three of them were in the same room at the beginning, weren't they? Like, what do you call them? Quentin woke up in the same room as Leavin, and then was David Hewlett lying in the corner as well? I feel like they were all in the same room.
David Hewlett. We start in David Hewlett's room with Quentin coming up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then they hear somebody coming through, and he grabs Holloway.
Yeah. So that's why all three of them ended up.
Right. So they all end quite quickly in the same room.
Yeah.
They didn't start in the same room. Oh, that would make sense. Right. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, that's my theory of it. Is like the middle, the first one was the safe room, because that's when they all kind of meet into that room, and then they said, "Oh, that was the safe room." But yeah, as far as I'm aware, and then that guy seemed to win the other way and got diced.
Yeah.
So I think there was 7.
So yes, would that count? But if it was a cube, there'd only be 6 either side, though, wouldn't there? Because only 6 sides in a cube. So yeah, maybe it was the previous game then.
Maybe.
For your theory, but yeah, I couldn't tell if he was part of the team. That they never found his diced up body like when they were doing their.
That's a point. Yeah, maybe it was. I've not watched Cube Zero. I watched Cube 2 Hypercube. I've not watched Cube Zero yet.
I wonder if he's in Cube Zero. Yeah, if he's the only one left at the end, it's a bad sign, I would say. Anyway, who picked Cube? It was Andy. Andy, why did you pick Cube?
Because this film's an absolute banger. There's no hiding where my views go in this film all the way through it. It's just one of these films that I watched and I was just like, that's a film. And the podcast was fundamentally based on Bruce not seeing this film, so I decided we have to watch the Cube.
Simple. You have a theme on the go that we've not guessed yet, am I right?
Correct.
And this is part of it, obviously. So
yes.
Had I seen it before? As Andy said, no, I didn't. Chris, had you seen it before?
I had, yeah, and I'd seen it again just after being a dog's breakfast. I thought, you know what, I'm going to smash it, the David Hewlett film.
And that was the first time you'd seen it?
No, that was the first time I'd seen it in about like 6 or 7 years.
Right, okay. So you do have a history of it.
Because he goes through alphabetical his DVD collection. Like
I don't have this DVD though.
Oh, so this is what, like, every 3 years when it's on. Well,
Channel 4 was the next
question.
on
TV or something.
What channel would we normally find it on? This was on Channel 4 OD this week, so I'm assuming it was Channel 4, unless More 4 or something we put it on. But yeah, I think that's the only answer of which channel to be on. And which version? There only is one version. There seems to be no alternative versions. I don't know if you've got a DVD, Andy, that might have an extra cut on it or something like that. I found no evidence of it.
I'm pretty sure the DVD is just literally, there's not even bonus features, it's just the film on it, like old school.
The film, chapters, and then settings.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's it. There's nothing special on that thing.
And the settings are subtitles. I don't get started on subtitles. No, subtitles are fine for this one. That was good. Struggle with those. On to point 2 on the podcast. Point 2 is the high points, best bits and things. Andy, you selected the films. So why don't you go first?
That Cube Death, the first death.
That's how you start a film! Exclamation point.
And like, bear in mind, this is like 1997, where special effects are all a bit over the place, and this is a low budget film. I would imagine that's exactly how a person getting cubed would look like. That's pretty much where I'm at with that.
Well, me not knowing where it was going at all, I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's stuck in this room, and I'm quite enjoying it. And then he goes into the room, I was like, this is gonna be a bad idea. No matter what happens, like, I do like when a film lands you like straight in the action and you don't know what's happening. I don't like it when it's straight in the action, you don't know what's happening, and then 2 days earlier. I don't like that. But when the film has started, first scene, you've had no explanation of what's going on. You're going to find out as they find out, and the guy literally gets cubed with what?
Must be a razor metal wire.
Yeah, like a metal thing just goes woof right through him, and then folds up in this very, very 1997 when it folds up.
Yes, but, the first bit was good.
Yeah,
the second bit not so much.
Like I say, him being cubed as well was really good. Like,
I've got a small question as to how the trap got set off though, because he was in there for a while before it went whoosh.
Maybe he stepped on a button.
Yeah, fart sensors.
Yeah, like it's a very smart design of the cube that the wall is kind of. It looks really cool, but it's kind of as messy as it is, because it means that absolutely they could probably use the same set for every single cube, change the lighting,
sure that's how it is.
And because the wall is so, like, I don't know, densely patterned and randomly patterned, they can it could all come out of like any room could be any of them because it's the way it works. So yeah, any 20 of these marks could be a button for him to set off to be cubed.
Because the whole theory with the escape artist is it's always like motion sensors, but they kind of quickly go, it's not just motion sensors or sound sensors or anything.
Yeah.
So it could be any kind of sensors that trip that off.
It could be anything or it could be nothing. Yes. Any other? I mean, that's probably
It's a strong start.
Andy set his stall out early. I'm going to say that's the best bit of the film right there. Is that so? The film doesn't get any better than that first guy getting cubed, and a lot of other people die. In fact, maths would probably tell me something like 85% of people die in this film, and that was the best death. So yeah, it's kind of downhill from there. One way or another.
That's not going well.
I was saying my next high point is the Ren. Like, he was a man with a plan. He just got in, like, here, suck a fucking button, give me your boots, that's it. You're off. Like, if you can't keep up, that's it, you're done.
Yeah, I didn't mind like a little bit of the development and all that, but it's just like straight away, what you call him, the thingy guy, just like the cop. It's like straight away, he's in like wrong movie category. He's in the wrong movie because he's already playing a serial killer before we even know he's a serial killer. I've never trusted him one bit. Yeah. But yeah, when the Ren comes in, it's at that point, it's like, all right, nobody's really doing anything. Everybody's a bit scared. And this guy's just there chucking boots. He's like, right, we're doing this. It's like, who is this old guy? And he's like so charismatic straight away. It's like, I like you. I hope you stick around. He doesn't.
Yeah. I did love the thing. I was like, yeah, there's motion sensor like that. We'll chuck the button. You see, sets off fire. Chuck another button. And this was clear. No, bang, acid to the face.
Acid to the face. That's probably the second best death. Was the acid to the face.
You should rate your deaths. It is the good.
I don't know. They might actually go that way now. I think about it. They might gradually go down. Yeah, a slight problem this film has is the most interesting and exciting character was Ren, and they kill him off within 2 minutes, basically, of you meeting him. Meaning you're stuck with all the other ones, the miserable bastards who don't have anything nice to say about anybody and all that stuff. Whereas the Ren, forward-thinking, positive kind of guy, was going to be quite entertaining, and then he's done. He gets one scene and he's done. But yeah, I liked his energy. It was a shame that he had to go so quickly. Any other high points? It's a wee bit till my next one. Next one for me is the silence section.
Well, that like mine's just before that, because like you said, like the Ren's a good character, but then suddenly it's like you said, the other characters are a bit stale. But then you get Kazan in, and instantly I like this guy.
The wild card.
The wild card. You need a wild card in these rooms, which then sets up your next one is the silence room.
The silently crossing, that was really, really good. Like they set up all like this. But basically, once we open the door, any noise whatsoever will annihilate everybody. Like, I mean, we talked about the thing chopping the guy in the cubes. It's the whole room in this instance. So there's no way. And then they commit. Let's cross the bitch, which the delivery on that line might be a low. But because I thought at that point when he said let's cross, I was like, do they mean they're going to go all the way back through all of the cubes to go? Because they're not at this point. They worked out it's a big cube that they're in.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're going to have to cross the bitch all the way back, I thought was what he was implying. But no, he means the danger room. And obviously it cuts straight away and they're all being like really quietly and all that. But yeah, really well played. And like, I do like when a movie builds up a bit of tension in a scene and it's like, what do you call him? Old Kazan somehow gets his trouser leg caught on the door. Then
it's just funny when he just does a pivot as well. And it's
like an NPC in a computer game, just like, I don't know what to do now. I must keep walking. My only purpose is to keep walking. And then sort of head in the other direction. It's like so weird. But yeah, doing it. And then the finale of, like, we almost lose Quentin, I think it is. He's the last man to go. And then just before he escapes, he just makes an excited noise because he hasn't died. No, I must say, no wonder Quentin beat the shit out of him afterwards.
Yeah, you're kind of on the side of Quentin on that one because it's like, fuck, I almost got shish kebabbed.
What I did to get you through that room, and you just gave me away for no reason.
To be fair, like, I would have been like Kazan. If I don't like him, I would be like, trap. And so he's coming through, just like annihilate him.
I do like that's how they worked out how the room worked. Was him just going trap repeatedly. That was a good way to detect it. Who's next with high points? I'll be telling you now. I am very low on high points from here on.
See, at this point, I was kind of wondering. I was like, right, where are they eating for a start? Which we obviously found out that you can't eat. So that was already my question. So they cover that off. Suck a bang.
Yeah. One scene, I was sure they were eating something. Like one character was like this, and then was kind of like chewing a little bit, and it cut. I think it was to Quentin, and he popped something in his mouth and started chewing. So I was like, "Where's this food coming from?" All of a sudden, and I realized, "Oh, that's just them chewing on this button."
Yeah. So I like that. So explain, because it's like I'm gonna get hungry very quickly, and it's like, all right, so they're not feeding them. The next question I had is, I wonder where they go to the toilet. I know
Kazan answers that one.
He answers that one for me as well. So I was like, I'm right about this time. I was like, I would be in a shit right now. I would like, do you shit in the room, then go and hope you don't come back? And then no, Kazan's just pissing in the corner. It's like, right, yeah, there is no toilets either.
Am I crazy? Or was Leva, is it Levin? Is that how you say her name? Levin? Levin. Because it sounded like, I kept thinking of calling her 11, like in Stranger Things. Levin. Levin. I feel like she was repulsed before he started going to the toilet. He was just sitting in the corner.
At one point, he must have been started whapping it out with like going for a pee.
Yeah, it must have.
Pre-game
so whapping it out.
Because then the doctor was like, go over to the corner over there, and then he started like the noise changed. So I thought, so you must just have had it out, I guess, was what it was. But yeah, I couldn't work out. It's like, I was like, oh god, he's gonna piss himself, isn't he? And then he wandered off and then had a pee.
I think he had his tadger out.
He must have done, yeah. But yeah, that does answer the question. Like, you always nominate the toilet corner.
Yeah. It's just like the questions I was just having. It's just like, right, we were shitting, guys. We need to come up with rules.
I mean, there's probably an easy answer for where you go number 2.
Well, you just open the middle hatch.
You open the middle door. It's a good tester for the next room as well. Can
you imagine
in fact, why did he pee down there as well?
Okay, but we came up with this hindsight. I think we've got hindsight on this one.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, you should have peed through that's a low point now. It makes no sense for you to pee in the room when there's a very sizable hole.
Well, he had special needs.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to go back down that hatch door and you forget, you slip.
That's the trap.
Yeah.
Crack your head. It was actually a safe room, but you cracked your head.
Yeah. Carry on with your high points. My list is depleted, fortunately.
Well, I'm going to say they revealed that Worth was part of the construction of it.
Was it?
I thought it was. You can see, like, from the start, Quentin had it in for him. He's like, I'm just going to fucking keep baiting him until he gets what he wants.
I'll kind of slightly back up Chris on this one. Mine's is more the conspiracy theory around the cube. That was it. I'm not going to say Wentworth, but whatever her name is.
Holloway.
He's Worth. Holloway is the doctor.
Holloway. When she's like comes up with every single theory under the sun, it's like, is it aliens? It's the military. The military would do it. Oh, is it the cartel or the mafia? And then it's like you just like when then they cut to like David Chula, it's like, well, you know something. It was just like the little subtleties. Like the reveal wasn't great because he just kind of.
I was more like Quentin. I thought it was some rich guy who's like a battle royale.
Yeah,
where he lasts without wins kind of thing.
But I'm already thinking, going, this thing's fucking massive. Who's got the space for it? But I'm with her, like just like trying to work out. This is the first thing I would do. It's like, but why am I here? Like, what's going on? Like, what's the purpose of this cube?
Yeah,
and it's actually like my high point is the story of like, what the fuck is it?
Please indulge me because I've been waiting to ask. Can you explain, one, what was actually going on, and two, please can someone explain to me what the conclusion with the numbers was? Because I've only watched the film once, so I wasn't going to go back and do it again. And the numbers, I thought they decided about 4 times what the plan was, and then they kept changing their mind. So what was the answer with the numbers? But carry on, Andy.
The numbers are the coordinates.
The numbers are the coordinates.
Yeah, it's like the coordinates of each cube, and then like they passed. Like there was obviously one that was not in because it was outside. It was a bridge. So they worked out. Like, I'm going to get me wrong, it's definitely going to come up in low points as the mathematical equations of it.
Right.
But it is the coordinates of like that location of the cube.
So. So say you're in your green box at the moment, and your coordinates, just for argument's sake, are 1, 2, 3, whatever it was.
Yep.
If you go through one door, is that going to be 1, 2, 4? Like
no, because they move. That's why she had to kind of do like factors and prime numbers.
All of them all move all the time.
Yeah,
I think it's like a Rubik's cube kind of
It's
thing.
like a Rubik's cube, like it does that.
Right. Because I know there was this one key bridge block.
Yeah.
I got that part down, and that is the way to get out was to find this one necessarily.
Yeah, no, I think all rooms like shift, like one of them finger things, like the puzzles in it. It's only once they've all kind of realigned again is that bridge there, and then yes, in theory, your numbers would line up.
Right.
But yeah, I think you have to kind of cube them, factor them, prime them. Numbers.
Like there was the maths genius who was literally in this to be the maths genius. Got the maths wrong like 3 or 4 times, or jumped to some random conclusion that was wrong 3 or 4 times. I'm like, okay, you're not actually a maths genius. I guess she was still in school. But yeah, that annoyed me. And you're coming to other stuff later on, so I won't probe any further. Chris, high point.
Just a little one. when it's all gone to shit and Kazan's just sitting there rubbing Quentin's head.
Yes. It was funny.
He's like, get off me. He's just like stroking his head.
Any others?
No,
Yeah,
pretty much
the last one.
All right. Well, my one is not actually like part of like a story part of the film. It's just the set. We kind of mentioned it.
Oh yeah.
This set is absolutely genius.
Really
low
good.
budget. All you have to do is change the lights. You maybe have a room and a half, and you could film the entire film.
I guess it's probably like a backdrop.
Yeah.
Opposite the door on the other side. Yeah. So.
But yeah. What a set.
Sensational set. Really, really good. Really cool. Really like. Yeah. Unique, I would say.
Yeah.
Chris, did you have one more? Sorry.
Well, I wasn't really a high point as well. It's like
midpoint.
I've seen it before, and then on second viewing after Watch Dog Breakfast, I had like a Mandela effect where I thought when Kazan escapes, I thought he had a Usual Suspect ending where he just stops being Kazan and just starts walking it normally for some reason.
Like he was the mastermind behind it the whole time.
Like Saw or whatever it was.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like, I need to see if these are good people. Will they help the disabled man out? And they did, but none of them were able to survive.
Yeah, right. So I got that completely wrong.
So my last high point is pretty much the end of this film. Now, people hate that. I'm one of these people. Hate a film with no explanation, no ending. I came at this film going, they need to explain that. I don't care. Like, I genuinely watch this film every time, and I do not care about what the who did it. Where's that white room going to? Like, what is on the other side? I didn't care. Whereas, like, obviously on the human race one, they tried to over-educate it and put aliens at the end. They could have done that in this one.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. And I didn't need any explanation. And then they brought out Cube Zero to explain it, which I can't actually remember Cube Zero, and I will be watching it in the next couple of days. But I did watch Cube 2 Hypercube.
Oh, fuck. I watched that as well. I watched the entire thing. It's absolutely guff.
Oh, it's bad. That's a low point. We'll get on to that.
I don't have it as a low point. So when you're talking about the ending there, I don't like the ending because no semblance of an explanation is offered in the whole film. As in you pointed out, they have a conversation about it, and David Hewlett's character basically says, none of that is right, none of that is wrong, none of it really matters. It could be anything. And then the ending is just a guy leaves. So I like when a film doesn't tell you that, like something like The Shining. I love The Shining. They don't tell you what is going on, but there's enough in it where you can kind of be like, come up with a theory and be like, oh yeah, they built the hotel on an Indian burial ground. It's haunted and blah blah blah. But you can't theorize what's happening in this film because it's just blindly. I could just say it's giant aliens that are running it. It's a rich man, and there's no evidence. The only thing we know is David Hewlett built the outside shell of it, which is a really weird. Why would you write the character to? Oh yeah, I built it, but just the building that it's in, basically. And it's like, it's to me, it was an annoying little twist that I built it. Oh, not the cubes, the building it's in. So yeah, to not offer us any semblance of an explanation.
See, that's what I liked about it.
Right,
no explanation.
No explanation needed or warranted. On to point 3 then, the low points. The worst bits and things of the film.
I think you're dying to say something.
I'm not dying. He's got a list.
I do have a list. But a lot of them are just... if you want, I'll go through and you chime in with yours when it's time. Kazan goes into a room. He goes in the room, has a bit of trouble. Holloway follows him in after popping her button. Oh, got my button. Into the mouth, into the room. Then she just starts choking. And Kazan's just looking at her. Everybody else is poking their heads in the wee hole. It's gas! It's gas! She's being gassed. It's like, why is she the only one being gassed then? There's 6 of you in the vicinity here, and she's the only person being gassed. The woman who we just saw throw a button into her mouth. So that annoyed me, how obvious it was that she was just choking on the button. But her generally, Holloway, absolutely. I forgot to have, is it not Buzz Killington Award, but like the Debbie Downer Award or something like that?
Yeah.
That's her. I don't know if I've got that one. I think Chris gave it a name like that, wasn't it?
I was going to say, my point is like the what do you do conversation. Like they're all saying, "Oh, I'm a cop. Oh, I'm a nurse," and they look at Worth and he goes, "What do you do?" And you give him a hard time because he's a Debbie Downer. That's what I've got here. Because he's just so depressed. He's like, "I do nothing. I'm just a guy," and they all fucking kick him when he's down.
he is also hiding the fact that I'm kind of involved.
Yeah,
with
he
this.
knows.
Like, he must be. I know I built the building to house this, and oh my god, they've turned on, they've screwed me, and they've stuck me in here, probably to get rid of him, like as a sort of he helped, like dig in your own grave kind of way, sort of. No, he can't tell anyone about this horrible place because he's dead now because he built it. But yeah, Holloway. We also have to take everyone at face value. Everyone's, oh yeah, I'm a policeman, I'm a doctor. It's like, Holloway didn't really show much in the way of being a doctor. She helped him out at one point when he hurt his leg a bit and all that stuff. But other than that, yeah, she was just, the acting was really bad, which is annoying that she's had basically the second best career at the cast. But yeah, she was the one I was most happiest. At that point, Quentin was turning, and then when he dropped her, I'm like, good. I'm glad
she's went full on Quentin. We know who he is going to recast him.
As soon as you mentioned him, like his fucked up relationship with Levin, that was weird. Like any time she did something, this weird creepy look he would give her, and then he started trying to fucking molest her.
He is my low point. Like, I think you just take him out, like I would enjoy this film even more. But straight away, he's like so, like nuts. Like he's absolutely psychopathic. Like I don't mind a character where they start off and then you go a bit crazy. He was like crazy instantly. Now, that'd probably be me, don't get me wrong. If I woke up in a random cube, I'm going to be like, don't trust anybody. But I'm a cop, I've got 3 kids. I'm turned into a psychopath straight away.
Yeah,
who says it like that as well? Like, I've got 3 kids. She didn't. Oh, yeah, your wife, how did she survive it? She didn't. She's not dead, we just broke up.
Yeah, exactly. He has extreme hero complex, does Quentin. Like, he needs to save everybody when nobody really wants him to necessarily save them. Yeah, like they want to be safe, but it's not all. And he really just, I have decided I am the leader of our little team, and what I say goes. So quite early on, and it's like, no wonder he rubbed everybody up the wrong way. But
I do love that Worth kind of just pushed him as far as he could go. At the time, like calling him, no, it was Holloway called him a Nazi. Yeah. But then Worth started going, jawohl. Commandant.
But also, I don't feel like he was necessarily being a Nazi when she accused him. I just felt like, oh, we'll have to throw an insult here. We'll throw the word Nazi at that. That'll make him angry. But she also called him like a paedophile at some point as well.
Well, she was wrong.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. But we also don't know how old Levin is because she's
11.
Like, oh, maybe. But yeah, and then at one point, Quentin mentions, "How did Holloway know so much about me? How did she know about me?" And it's like,
it's right all over your face, you creepy bastard.
Yeah. Did she guess correctly that you were a pedophile? Are you admitting that you are that? Like, what is this about? So yeah. But on the subject of Quentin, my next low point was his impossible ninja roll that he did. Like he walked into one of the cubes, and then these deadly things are in a complete circle round about him, and he just goes, "Hiya!" and rolls to the side, and somehow gets out of it with a graze to his leg. It's, oh, doctor, come and see my bad leg. The roll itself was quite funny, on top of everything, but there was no way he was dead at that point, and somehow made it out of it. Which again, at that point, I was kind of.
I reckon the CGI team were trying to kill him off, going, "Let's kill this twat off."
Yeah.
He's fighting it as much as he could. But still on Quentin, like at the end, how did he manage to find them? Because he got dropped into a cube, they went through about 3 different cubes and then went up. Yet he still managed to find them.
Because you got that psychopathic killer rage. They always find.
He got Jason Michael Myers powers.
Yes. You can see through walls when you're a serial killer.
Movie magic is how he found them. That's how. In fact, my movie trope that needs to die is actually referring to that, so I'll come on to that later. Next low point, I've got worse. Me complaining about worse. So I don't actually know what he was talking about. I've got one of my low points. Everybody in this film has now had a monologue where I have no idea what they are talking about. Every single one of them just waxes lyrical for a couple of minutes, and I don't know what you're rabbiting on about. The maths one. Quentin.
Well, that's my low point, is the math. Now, I remember watching this film probably when I was in school, going, "Well, I'm screwed because Mr. Jack's not taught me that well." So I'm not getting prime numbers and factors or whatever the hell end up actually being the code. And
if it's not 2 + 2, then I'm fucked.
Yeah. So
with the prime numbers, I was like, okay, I can kind of keep track of prime numbers because if it ends in a 5, a 0, or a 2, it's not a prime number. So I'm like, okay, that's a reasonable.
More than I do.
Okay, that's a reasonable way to do things. And then they're like, oh, I was wrong. It's not prime numbers. It's now this. I don't know anything about that. And then they changed it again. And then you say it's the coordinates. And all of a sudden, Kazan was able to tell you 4, 4, 2. That's a safe room. I'm like, I don't know if you've told me why that's a safe room. Like, what's that?
Oh, I thought you were gonna like. I don't understand. Like you said, this room is 222. That's safe. And then one was like 423. That's safe. So I was like, no, what isn't safe?
Because it was a factor, like a prime factor or whatever.
Yeah, but what numbers were safe and what weren't?
That's the point.
What's the factor of 462? And he would go 2 or something like that. And they're like, it's safe then. It's like, okay, so is it prime numbers? Because to me, prime numbers are numbers that can only be divided by themselves and 1. That's what a prime number is. So is that the factor? So I was still now looking for. We've gone all the way back around and we're still looking for the unnecessarily complicated. I don't know why they made it so hard to understand. Not even like what the film is about. Like they could have made it anything. They could have made it like hieroglyphics. If there's like a stork, it's a dangerous room.
Don't get me wrong. I would have been looking at these panels behind me for a good 12 hours before I'd try and work out a pattern or something.
Try taking them off and make a big picture.
Yeah, try and move the panels around.
Yeah. It's like, the film is it's an hour and a half long, and it's like a 20-minute maths lesson that I feel like it was in a foreign language in the middle of it. But that's my lowest point is I don't know what anyone is talking about for a good chunk of the film.
I'll blame Mr. Jack for that then, because he didn't teach us math good enough.
Okay. I've got a marker in my notes. It's not even 40 minutes long, and not even 40 minutes into the film, and every living character has annoyed me at this point. So the ones I liked were all dead. That was 40 minutes. Are the buttons that they're chewing on metal?
Plastic.
My next. Well, how the hell was she scratching maths equations into metal with plastic buttons?
Magic. Maybe magic.
Just sucked it that hard and got to a point.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, but I was like, what is she using? It's like, it's a button, like these metal buttons. Like, metal buttons are reasonable. Then they keep chewing it. Like, no, don't. The villains will be like going mad with that. The doors. The doors. Do they shut themselves?
Yes.
Yeah.
When, where, what were the rules to the doors shutting themselves?
I reckon when nobody was near them.
5 seconds delay or something.
Right. Because there's some rooms where like the quiet room, there's one door open for ages and they're all going very quietly. And there's another open door, and that there's other rooms where they slam shut. There's other rooms where they have to close it and they trap Quentin's head in it so they can go out another door. And then I'm like, right, so maybe when they move it into one room, all the doors close. And all that sort of stuff. And then the one at the end, the escape door is there. And all of a sudden, somehow Quentin sneaks in without anybody noticing it through the other door. And it's like, I was like, if I was in this, I'd be keeping all doors open. I want to see where I've been and where I'm going at all times and all that. And it annoyed me that the doors kept shutting.
I think, but the one that they kept open in the silent room, because they were there, it sensed them, or they kept it open. But if they'd closed it, the other one would have shut as well.
Just imagine a sliding door like a supermarket. You stand there and it just stays open. It's magic.
Right, okay, I see. But and also, I was trying to work out.
No, he's not picking.
Well, yes. Did every door, did they come in pairs? So say I was going into Andy's cube. I'm like this, open my door, lift it off. Does a door open automatically into Andy's room as well?
It look that way.
Because there's a little tunnel that you have to go through. Every room had connecting tunnel, but never at any point did you ever see both doors opening. And I feel like and then when they climbed into rooms, sometimes I felt like there was a door there. Also, when they choked Quentin that time, there was a door there. But 10 minutes of I was looking at trying to work out, is the tunnel in a room or is there a tunnel between rooms? I couldn't quite work out either. So
I think
you open one side, they both open at the same time.
Open at the same, yeah. And then when that one's shut, the other one's shut.
The other one shuts as well. So you could theoretically get trapped in the wee tunnel in between.
Yes.
Really.
And then when the room moves, you'll get sliced.
But also, you'd be gubbed there. Oh yeah, as the rooms would move, wouldn't they? Yeah. So
well, if you were kind of in a small enough gap between the rooms, you would like get shifted around.
I don't know. Fucking the speed that thing was moving, I would shit myself. Just welcome.
I'd be getting Liv into that because she was tiny. Sit on the other side of the door and see what happens when it moves. Everyone standing in a circle. Quentin, how many boots do we have, Holloway? How about you use your eyes, arsehole?
God.
Literally everyone is standing. How many boots have we got left? Like, are you busy? Are you? That you can't look down.
All the boots anyway. They had what?
Yeah.
There was a system. Did 12 boots at one point.
Yeah, including dead people, 12 boots. How many did Red burn through?
Why did they just carry Red with them and just chuck him into rooms and say,
yeah, horse him into the next room? I suppose, I bet room 2, you'd be done, you'd get back out again, you'd be in bits, would be the problem.
Just take a lot of lumps for you. I was like, oh, that's a bit of body, but just play the, I don't know. Play the long game. Just throw bits of body everywhere. See what happens.
Right, I've got a genuine low point before Bruce just nitpicks every little thing here.
This is all problems, I'm telling you.
Right, it's problems. Proper low point. The impossibly long amount of clothes they made that rope with.
I have a problem with this as well. This is my worst plan, but carry on, Andy.
But yeah, no, like I was trying to work out the math. There was like what 4 or 5 of them left. So
maximum of 5.
So they all kept their t-shirts on. They all kept their underwear on. They only used their jackets and trousers.
The tops and the trousers, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I reckon, doing the math, that they would even have got out of the room because there was 3 of them, 4 of them holding it.
One of them was at the back wall. It's like, what are you?
I love that Kazan just standing there like that though, just like, not doing anything.
But then, like, what I would do would be tie it onto the door handle of the door you're crawling out, so you only use about that much space rather than having 4 of you hold it on. It really, that properly annoyed me.
Oh, I know. When she was dangling out, I was like, I'm not quite sure what they're doing here. She's going to try and swing across, and I'm like, to what? Like, I don't know what she's doing. Can't you ask old Bobag if he built a door? Like, he's built this building.
Oh, you said there was one door.
Right, so we can't see if it's there. I need to go and see if it's there. Is that what the plan was? So yeah, and you see her hanging out, like reaching for nothing, and it cuts back in, and there's 3 of them, all with like a shot each. I was like, what are you even doing? You don't even know what you're doing. But yeah, terrible. They find a body in a room. They turn it over, and it's got a hole where a face used to be. Oh my god, it's Ren. And then the camera pans down. And you see, it's Ren. It's like, oh really? Thank you. Oh, it's not one of the other characters whose face was burned off. Thank you very much. But yeah, I enjoyed that. That made me laugh. And my final low point, Livin says, quote, "We should never have moved in the first place." Immediately then moves into the next room. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about now. So she's like, basically she finds her glasses, doesn't she?
Yep.
In a room. And she works out that's the first room that she was in?
Yeah, because she did the math. So it was the room that they all met up in, because that's when our glass broke.
Right. We should never have moved in the first place. That means this next room is the way we need to go. It's like,
yep.
So then you should have moved. If you just stayed in that room, you'd still be stuck.
Well, no, the point was that they stay in that room, and then the next room that would have been the gateway one, because if she did the math right, she would have worked out.
Would she though? There'd be no pattern.
Well, yeah, but that's the point.
She would not have worked out the pattern with just 4 doors or whatever.
Maybe that's the mystery of the cube. You've got to go around the cube to find the pattern, then go back.
You have to find out what's happening before you can find the way out. But yeah, her plan, we should have stayed in this one room, would not have worked. They would still be in that room dead in a corner, is what they would have done. And that's my final low point.
Right, my last low point is this film led to the sequel, Cube 2 Hypercube.
Oh, Jesus.
Fucking hell, what a film that is. You think this film's bad, Bruce? You wait till you watch Cube 2.
I have no intentions to, but it may happen, I feel.
Because all the good things, like the set, they switch out just for white. Everything is pure white, no pattern. The doors are touch panels. They have all the same characters in it. There's no numbers on it this time, and it's all about mathematical, interdimensional, space stuff, hyper travel.
They call it a tesseract.
Tesseract.
Instead of 4 dimensions. Instead of
and time and space, because the cubes move so fast, they're catching up with each other, and has other versions of them in this cube because it's moving so fast.
Oh, good. To make it more complicated. That's...
Yes.
You know what, I might just pick it this.
If we do next week, Chris, I'm not going to be happy. That's for low points. Yes. Then. I don't have anything else to complain about. Right, cracking on with the stats. There were 3 shits, including 1 merde by Ren, who wasn't French. So I don't know necessarily why he swore in French, but he did.
Maybe he was in a lot of French jails.
I would presume so. 23 F-bombs. It was a slow start, and then they started coming rat-a-tat-tat.
Quentin just fucking rattled them off.
He did. Really got into it. And 0 explosions. I thought somebody might have blown up at one point, but there was no explosions. 6 deaths, i.e. everybody in the film that isn't Kazan all meet their death. I'm counting David Hewlett as having died. Like this, he's not getting out of there, I don't think. 0 cows, no goats, no dead animals. Paedophile.
Yep.
Quentin,
Definitely.
clearly. Tackleberry trifecta. I think we maybe stretch running, but even then, there's not much space to run, really.
No.
So maybe nothing. One thing I noticed this before we had met Kazan. The giveaway was Quentin. All characters are named after famous prisons, which are, I say famous.
I'll know that by Googling it.
I found
Never
out that
knew
they
that.
were famous. But yeah,
That's blown my mind.
when I saw a name was Quentin, I'm like, Quentin, that's funny. Like San Quentin, the famous prison. Johnny Cash played a gig there and all that. I was like, I wonder if, oh yes, Holloway prison in London, a big prison for women and young offenders. Rennes has the largest female prison in France, in the town or city of Rennes. This is an interesting one. Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary. So we put the two then together. Leavenworth has famously held Machine Gun Kelly, the Birdman of Alcatraz, obviously after he was being in Alcatraz, Whitey Bulger Jr. and Michael Vick, the NFL player, after his dog fighting stuff, was also held there. Leavenworth also has the US's only maximum security military prison. So if you're a bad guy in the army, you go there. So a big prison town is Leavenworth. Kazan Prison Psychiatric Hospital was the first secret Soviet punitive psychiatric prison in the USSR back in the USSR days, i.e., if we think you're not thinking like we want you to think, we're going to send you for some psychiatric treatment, and you'll begin to think the way we want you to think.
I bet they reopened that now.
Yeah, maybe. So that's Kazan. And then I even checked Alderson, the guy who started at the very beginning, who gets diced, is a federal female prison for non-violent and white-collar crimes, i.e. that's where Martha Stewart was when she was imprisoned 10, 20 years ago when she was... So yes,
That's blown my mind. Didn't know that.
Every character is a famous prison. Well, I say every character. Leavenworth is a prison. Two of them put together. Did they say the thing? Did they say cube in Cube?
Yes, they did. 9 times.
I had 2, but I think I stopped counting because I stopped really paying attention. I was more trying to work out what the hell was going on. But if Chris says 9, I'm very happy to admit 9 is probably the answer. Chris, any other stats from you?
Yeah, I counted it went into 26 different cubes.
Very good.
Nice.
26 was 26 not an important number at one point?
Yeah, so many cubes by cubes by cubes.
So they probably went the whole way across.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like 26.
Any others?
Yeah, that's it.
Andy, do you have a fun fact that doesn't involve prisons for us?
They filmed this in 20 days.
Oh, not 26. That would be nice. 20 days.
20 days.
That's pretty good going, really, when you think about it. 20 days.
Didn't really have to move far for the set.
Yeah, I suppose I. Just come in that door. Okay. On to point 5 on the podcast, the 10-point podcast quiz. Andy is the quiz master.
Right. This one
quiz.
We're going old school. We're going buzzers.
Oh no.
Well, it's not buzzers. Just shout the answer when you know it.
Shout the answer. First answer wins. Is that the way?
First answer wins. So basically, the cube. It's called Cubed, and I'm going to tell you 3 films. So I'm going to start with a least obvious film, then another film, and then another film, and you've got to name the actor that's in all 3 of these films.
Ah, okay, right. To the power of 3, basically.
Yes, so Cubed. Right. So I'll start off. So just shout when you know, just the actor's full name.
Sorry, before we go any further, if you say The Shining and I shout Jack Nicholson and it's wrong, does Chris get a free go?
Yes. So you got to basically make sure, like, it is this. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure it is that these characters have only been in all 3 of these films.
The only one, and it's the actor, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a gamble if you want to go in the first one, or you wait just to double check.
So
right, here we go. So the films are The Craft. It's film 1. Film 2, As Good as It Gets. Film 3, the last one, Scream.
Neve Campbell?
Neve Campbell.
No. Both of these no. You can shout another name.
Scream. And
Going once.
David Arquette?
Nope. Going twice.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Skeet Ulrich.
It was, but time had run out. Time had expired. It was Skeet Ulrich.
Going twice.
Because The Craft came up when we did the Scream podcast. Like, who was in that? And I was thinking Neve Campbell, and then got to Scream in the end.
There is a clue within it. There's a hidden clue. You'll work it out hopefully by the end of this quiz.
Okay.
It's like the cube. See?
Yeah.
Right.
Find a way out.
Movie 1. Rules of Engagement. Movie 2. Batman Forever.
Val Kilmer.
No, Chris is locked out. Bruce gets the last one. Men in Black.
Tommy Lee Jones.
It says Tommy Lee Jones. That's one to Bruce. Remember, if you worked out the hint, don't keep it to yourself.
I'm keeping it.
You'll run away with it.
I've worked out the trend. It's in there.
Right. Movie 1. The Nut Job. Movie 2. Knocked Up.
Katherine Heigl?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Beat me
Right.
back a second.
Movie 4. Question 4. Movie 1. Fire with Fire. The Escape Plan.
Sylvester Stallone.
Nope, he's locked out. Bruce gets the last one. Southpaw.
I'm going to guess who I think Chris was saying and say Steven Seagal.
It is not Steven Seagal.
Ah.
It was 50 Cent.
Right, yeah.
I know what the theme is, but it's this season, not last season's. Got you.
It's like give it to yourself. Bruce might have not worked it out yet.
You already knew it.
I'd worked it out.
Right,
When
next
Scream
one.
came up, I'd worked it out.
Juice Bigelow, Male Gigolo. Resident Evil Apocalypse. The Mummy.
Rachel Weisz?
Nope. Chris?
It's not. I'm going to say Brendan Fraser. But it's not.
Nope. It's Oded Farah.
Oh, I was going to say John Hannah, but I was going to stab it. Give me John Hannah.
Next question. Chris basically needs the next two of these to actually try and win.
It's 2-0, yeah.
Right. Film. Hardcore Henry.
Shelter Copley.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that's it was. That is it was.
Your other ones were The A-Team and Elysium. Right. Chris is coming back. Here's the comeback.
Oh, no.
Right. Legally Blonde 2. The Amazing Spider-Man. Forrest.
Sandfield.
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Here it goes. Right. It's winner takes all. The last question.
Oh my god! This is the comeback of the.
Here we go. Winner takes all, and somebody's got to get it because I don't have. I don't have a tiebreaker, so you just got to keep sharing actors until you get it. Right. Urban Legend. Man of Steel. X-Men: The Last Stand. I'll give you one more movie. Cube.
David Hewlett?
Nope. Keep sharing out until you get them.
Oh, keep going. Nicole DeBoer.
Nope.
Andrew Miller.
Nope.
Nikki
Maurice.
Guadagni.
Nope.
Person.
Nope.
Julian Richings.
Yes.
Yeah.
This wins.
I cheated. Yeah.
I literally just knew Nicole DeBoer and David Hewlett. You rattled them through first, so I was really fucked out.
I remember when you said, now that I think about it, I remember seeing Man of Steel in someone's movie list.
Here you go. Bruce scrapes by in the Cube quiz.
That's really, what's annoying is every first film you said, I was like, I remember putting that in my notes for a movie, but I can't remember which random actor it was.
And that was all people from this season. Was the bonus kicker? When you think it was all Cube questions, it was.
That's why.
That's prime numbers.
When Chris said Sylvester Stallone, I was like, he means Steven Seagal, which is why I went Steven Seagal.
No, I Sylvester Stallone. He's in that film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Escape.
Yeah.
Escape Plan, yeah, yeah.
Righty-ho, on to point 6 then, movies within movies. Chris, 10-point podcast universe. Surprisingly, some hits here. I didn't think a film with 7 people in it would get as many hits as this.
Well, I've only got 3. Well, 2. David Hewlett, obviously, was in The Dog's Breakfast. That's all I've got for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know about this, but Nikki Guadagni was in Ready or Not.
Was she? Really?
She was also in Silent Hill
Yes.
as a distressed woman.
She was. I saw she was. I didn't want to give away the Silent Hill, but I didn't think you would forget we'd done Ready or Not.
I did. I scrolled past it as well. Just like, that's all I've got.
You not got another one?
Who have I missed?
We have just mentioned Julian Richings, who played Alderson. He played the governor in The Witch. If you go way back to the Black Phillip movie, way back when.
I'm not even paying attention to films that we've done anymore.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's forgotten. He's getting old.
I'm doing what's it called? The Burbs.
The Burbs, yeah, with all the films. Did you recast us into Cube?
I did, yeah. I'm totally worth. Like, just stand back and let everybody else do the work for me.
Had you been worth as well? I don't know why necessarily, but had you been worth?
I put Andy as Quentin. He's even said himself, like, he would go crazy pretty quickly.
I thought Andy is Ren. I thought Andy would be like, he would decide quite quickly, this is what's happening, I'm going to go do it, regardless of whether you're coming with me.
Maybe, but I would be jumping through the rooms.
Right. Yeah,
like, yeah. I'd come like the boot plan definitely come up, but I would definitely be Quentin it, just pushing people through.
I was going to say, you just get to the point where it's like, right, I'm not going, you're going. And all because you're probably smarter than us, I put you as 11.
I put myself as 11 because I would be trying to work out what is the path. Like, these numbers aren't. Stop! These numbers aren't here for no reason. These mean, and a bit like obviously me not being a math genius would take forever to work out what the pattern was.
So I'd get to the point if people want to go through a room, I would just let them say, well, you only go. I'm just going to work these out.
Yeah, crack on. I'm doing some terrible maths with a metal button here.
or we'll just take a poop down each hatch and see if it sets anything off.
See what happens. Right, fair enough. On to my usual questions that I cover for every movie. Could this film have come out in 1995?
Oh no, he froze.
I would say absolutely.
Absolutely, yes, that's what he's saying.
Slow.
Nice thumbs up. Yeah.
I'm going to move my keep going thumbs up. I'll come back again. That's exactly what I said. You are right. Because even the film gives off a kind of 12 Monkeys kind of vibe. I feel like the way it's shot, the way it's lit, is very 12 Monkeys to me, kind of, I don't know, post-apocalyptic sort of craziness. And that came out in 1995 as well, so it feels 1995. Dead Man Walking. Now, I thought Ren was never going to last very long, but I didn't think it was going to be straight away. I could not at any point figure out who was going to be the hero who survives. And my last guess was going to be that Livin would take Kazan and the two of them would go. I didn't think it was just going to be Kazan in the end. Who's in the wrong movie? Tough one. You guys love Kazan so much. I feel like it might be him, but
I would say Quentin. He's dialed up to serial killer straight off.
I feel like the film lost nothing when Holloway died, though. Like, I feel like maybe they could have done without her. Really,
she was my dead person walking.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. And tropes. What movie tropes that are in this film we would like to see today? I teased mine earlier on. We've successfully reached safety. Let's wait for a moment so the bad guy can catch us up and kill us. that always happens in this kind of film. What about you, Chris?
Mine's just basically a guy goes insane instantly and starts killing everybody.
Yep, that's mine. It seems to happen way too often in films.
Yeah.
Shining, the ultimate example. But yeah, once with Everyday Joe's just go nuts straight away.
I feel like at a certain point in the film, it was determined that Quentin was not to be trusted and quite a bad guy. And then they started teaming up with him again. I'm like, well, what are you doing? And then, it turned out he was kind of the bad guy in the end. What was his reason for killing everyone? Like, he just could have escaped, couldn't he? Why did he kill everyone?
Straight nuts.
I think they all just kind of turned him and started calling them names. They picked him.
Yeah, but he must have got to that last room and been like, oh, this looks different. This might be the way out. Blah, blah. Killing everybody. He's like, I just could have escaped.
I think he's invested for this time. He's already went full on. He's got to just finish his job.
Yeah. Okay, on to point 7. That one thing. What is that one thing this film has that defines it? That is his purpose? What is that one thing about Cube? Andy, what's your one thing?
Set.
Yep, definitely. Absolutely. Literally, I will remember this image that is behind me on the video right now.
That's literally just the cube.
The cube.
Yeah.
There
used to always be a Hellraiser cube, which has got a similar pattern to like this. But I imagine what's inside the Hellraiser cube is this pattern.
It could be.
That's a film within a film right there.
That's a crossover there, yeah. It turns out it was Pinhead, it was behind it the whole time.
Yeah, that's where the Chernobylbites or whatever they're called they live in this.
Xenobites, is that what it is? I think, yeah.
It begins with a C, it could be Xenobites.
Maybe it's Xenobites, yeah. Point 8 on the podcast, 10-point podcast award nomination time. Chris nominates and we argue. I don't have hunters, Chris. So
good luck, Chris.
You got a lot here. I put best actress Nicole DeBoer.
I left it blank intentionally.
I'd say she's all right. She's a young actress. I
put best supporting is David Hewlett.
I guess it maybe is. He's the only person that does any sort of acting, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll give Hewlett best supporting, I think.
Most underused is the guy that played Ren.
Yep.
I thought of that. Yeah. Good
yes, 100%.
Good shout. What was his name? Wayne Robson. He deserved better.
My best badass was Worth because he could take an absolute beating.
He did take a beating, didn't he?
He did.
To the face and just went, I'll carry on.
Instantly concussed in the first room. And then just gets the shit beat out of him in every other opportunity he can get.
Bleeding from his ears for the next 3 days. How long were they in there? I felt like it was days at some point as well. They were in there. They never really.
Quentin's internal clock never clocked that much.
Well, you said it was you had like 6 hours at one stage because it was 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
I'd be able to tell how hungry I am. So like 2 hours in, rage kicked in.
That's hungry.
The other one seemed really confused at him being like, let's rest for an hour? How long is an hour? And it's like, surely you can kind of tell what an hour is, really. Like,
you wake up.
Yeah, it's not that long, really. That you could count every second if you wanted to. Carry on, Chris.
Biggest villain, obviously, Quentin.
Definitely.
Yeah. I would see best villain as well. I just count him as one.
Well, I don't know. Whoever built the cube was a bit of a villain.
I had him as worst villain, I think.
Yeah. They didn't explain who the cube was, so I reckon that's the biggest villain.
Traitors. Quentin was worst villain for me. I feel like he turned heel just because somebody had to, really.
Okay, I put best death as Ren's.
Nah, best
first
death.
guy.
It's the cubing, isn't it? At the
Yeah.
beginning.
Okay.
Definitely.
I just like the Ren's face just imploding.
It's kind of cool, but I think the cubing might be like that 2 thing. It's the one I'll remember behind the actual cube itself, I think.
Best inanimate object, the cube.
I don't know. It almost seems sentient.
I went for the buttons.
and we've seen Cube 2 Hypercube. That thing it's alive. That thing.
Oh.
I don't think the set can be the inanimate object.
No, okay.
Because it's the whole thing set within this. We're going to start having towns as best inanimate object if we say the cube is the best inanimate object.
Oh, button then.
I think the buttons, the super buttons.
It kept them moist. it was a writing tool.
Yeah, it's stupendous.
Swiss Army buttons.
Yeah.
Swiss Army button, yeah.
Okay, I put the best plan is just letting Levin work everything out and just sit back and relax.
That's a pretty good plan.
I guess so, yeah. You're a master. Just crack on, yeah.
You've already said worst plan. Mine was not letting Quentin just fall out the hatch after Holloway. Okay, take 2 with 1 stone.
Yeah, I don't think they knew he was bad because they didn't know he'd killed her at that point.
Yeah.
So he seemed like he was the one who was kind of most.
I'll go with your worst plan is
yeah.
dangling somebody out the hole anyway.
My nomination.
There's nowhere to go.
My nomination reads as, what the hell was the shirt plan? What was she looking for? Why did they pick the lightest person if they were all going to hold the rope and only use half of its length? Like, they could have had anybody in there. It didn't have to be the lightest person when there was 5 of them holding.
And why didn't they just tie it to the steel handle?
Yeah.
Terrible. Nah, I'm not going to put best twist.
Is
there a best twist?
No twist.
No, opposite of a twist. There's no reason for this happening. That's the twist.
Okay, what special effects is when Quentin gets smeared along the outer shell?
Yes.
And more blood just appears and starts dripping down the wall.
I didn't mind that. I thought it was all right. The cubing fence thing at the beginning.
Oh, when it folds back up.
Yeah, it looked really bad to me. Obviously, it's quite jarring because it's the first thing you see. I could tell it was CGI, the blood at the end, but I didn't mind. I thought it was all right. It was quite a good death. It was well down the pecking order, but I'd be inclined to think the fence.
Okay, worst. What the best set? The cube.
Yeah.
Yep.
Worst cop, Quentin.
Yeah, I had that as well.
Yes.
If he in fact was a cop, he could have said anything really.
Worst costume is their grey shitty uniforms.
What are you trying to say? Yeah, they weren't the best. If they had something more memorable, it might have kind of stuck out a bit.
Squid Game style.
Spoiler for the second one is they're allowed to wear their own clothes when they go.
Yeah, they wear their own clothes in the
That's
second
less
one.
memorable, I would say.
You want to watch that film, that'll stick with you forever. That's like The Room. I don't know whether to watch The Room again or Cube 2.
There's a red dress as well that they start humping in. So
oh yeah, there is. Oh, it's bad.
Set the room in this room. That's what we really want. Get all the characters.
Every room. Oh hi, dead body.
Oh hi, Trap.
Last one, Karma's a bitch. Quentin gets squished.
Karma's a bitch. I didn't know that existed. But
Yeah, it's
I did that 4 weeks ago.
I'll officially nominate Debbie Downer for Holloway here. Most annoying kid. I don't know if he's a kid, but Kazan was really annoying when he's just going sometimes just making his constant
The
noise.
red room. Yeah.
And it might have been he was speaking, but there was one time where they basically shut him in another cube.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you just hear him going in the background. It was annoying. I've gone most obvious name as Quentin because that's what cued me off that they're all named after prisons. Was seeing, that's a very famous name of a prison. Oh, they're all stuck in prison.
That's just you.
That's just me.
I would have clocked that if they called one of them Alcatraz.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, right, that could be a thing.
Yeah. another one there. Debbie Downer. Worst acting, I went for Nikki Guadagni as Holloway. I thought her acting was significantly
She was all over the
worse.
place.
Yeah.
She's very much like a character in Cube 2, which the character's just all over the shop.
Okay. She was
Same
bad.
woman.
I think that's it. I think Chris has mentioned everything else, so we've debated it. So that's me. Best product placement, Andy?
There wasn't one.
Yeah, very
I think
good.
this is the first one. There is genuinely not a product placement.
The only words you see are their names, I think, in the whole film. So, yeah.
So maybe military uniforms, if I had to pick one.
Yes.
The force in my hand, military costumes.
Whatever those buttons are made of. That's that's the thing. Point 9 on the podcast, the moral of the story, what we thought the lesson we're supposed to learn from Cube was. Chris, what's your moral story?
Don't tell people what you do for a living.
I guess so.
Like, as soon as he said what Worth was, I'm a designer or what thing about it, that's it, you got the shit kicked out of him.
Oh, Worth, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Andy, what was your moral of the story?
Never leave your room.
Never leave your room. Very good. My moral of the story, this is the first time ever, this one here. There is no message, no reason is ever given for any action in this film. So I could not come up with a, like, I got to the end of the film and I'm like, right, okay. I don't know what I'm supposed to know. I don't know what happened or why it happened. I don't know what this was supposed to be. I felt like at one point it was being very political, where Worth was like, we don't know who built it or why they built it, but we know. I was like, you've lost me with your message. So there is no moral of this story. This is just a series of events that happen. Point 10 is the 10-point rating where we rate the movie out of 10. Andy, you picked it. You go first. I hadn't seen it. I'll go last.
This one's a banger. Like, straight out banger. For some reason, it gets me every single time. Like, it's like how Chris can watch a film over and over again. I can genuinely watch this film like over and over again because nothing actually happens. There's no story to it. I can put it on. It's like, oh yeah, there's Kazan. He's going to kill somebody. He's going to die. He's going to scream, whatever. I just love it. 8.
8. Bloody hell. For me, on that point, there's no music.
Nope.
Like, barely any. So it's all
sound.
I couldn't keep watching this because there's nothing there. It's just silence.
Yeah, brilliant. I absolutely love it. This is my favorite film of just nothing happens, and it does it beautifully.
Chris, you've seen it before and recently, so carry on.
I say this a lot, but this is another guilty pleasure for me.
Really?
Yeah. I've like I've said a few times, like Andy said, I could watch it again. I would happily if it stopped at Cube and fucked the sequels off.
Yeah.
Right,
well, Cube Zero is technically a prequel.
I haven't watched all of that yet.
Is it worth? No pun intended. Is it worth it, or is it as bad?
Well, I think if you watch Cube Zero, it would help you a lot with this.
Maybe.
But do not, whatever you do, if you do decide to go down the Cube rabbit hole, do not watch Cube 2.
Right, okay.
Watch Cube Zero because Cube Zero is more your type of film because it's more cabin in the wood style. Right. It's more about the people working the cube. Right. Okay. Rather than like what's actually in the cube. So you probably like that, but do not, for the love of God, watch Cube 2.
Right, fair enough.
But it's got flaws, but I'm giving it a 6.
Here it goes.
Here we go.
Okay.
It's a great idea, but it's so badly wasted that it almost made me angry. But I just didn't care. But like idea of like they're stuck in this cube and you don't know what it is. Like sometimes stuck places and you don't know where you are is one thing, but this is you don't know what is even happening. There's so much talking in the film and very little sense ever comes out of it. Maybe I'm too stupid to enjoy the film because of the whole maths. So I'm admitting that, and I do not take this lightly, and I debated it, but I'm giving it a 1.
Oh my God!
It was bad.
What a monster!
It's just, I don't, there was no, I've mentioned all the redeeming qualities. There's quite a cool cube. The best character dies immediately, and then beyond that, I don't really know why or where or when.
You generally think the room's better than this?
Yeah, because of what Andy's just been saying, and you've got the pleasure as well, I would enjoy watching the room so much more. And it's like every scene, there's a laugh in the room.
There's a laugh at this.
I was not laughing at this. I was laughing talking about it, but during the film, I'm just like, oh my God, why? What, when, why? It's like, oh yeah. So yeah, it's a 1. That's only the second 1 I've ever given, but I think this film was worthy, and I'm sad, I'm disappointed because you've always talked up this film, and I'm like, this sounds like a good idea for a film, and the film starts, and it's like, oh brilliant, that guy's cubed. The film's called Cube. This is a go, and a whole new team. I want to see what happens. This whole new team, and it just ground me down, and I'm like, oh. God. And then
Maybe he is Quentin.
The one guy who can't speak escapes in the end, and I'm like, I can't even hear him monologue about what happened at the end either.
I reckon if you watch Cube Zero, you'll come back and you'll get a new fondness of this.
Hopefully, I'd like to think so. So somebody might end up picking it now. But yeah, I think it's probably not as bad as Imaginarium, which is the only other one I've given. But this is down there with the worst we've ever done. It's still a 5. It still gets a 5 because of Andy's really heavily weighted 8 that he
It's an amazing film.
I don't know how, and that's like 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, how does Andy like this? Like, this is, I don't know. It's so out of your comfort zone of what I think you like, and I'm like, it's weird that he likes.
Yeah, you don't always need action. It's just the idea of just these people stuck in a cube.
Yeah,
Get space. Like, this is brilliant.
Could not get it. But yeah, I think I would happily never watch this again. And genuinely, I'd watch The Room 3 times in a row before watching this again.
I reckon you definitely weight this up if you watch Cube 2.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, if Cube 2 is the bottom, this will have to go up. Yeah, that's probably fair. On to Andy's theme. Now I've got 4 guesses. Some of which are very similar. Chris, I think I've cracked it. Do you think you've cracked Andy's theme?
I think so. I'm sure we've said this before, but mentally handicapped people who escape or win things.
Nope.
Or people with disabilities escaping and winning things.
Nope.
Right. Is it anything to do? Because I've just got disabled people as my guess.
Nope.
Right. Is it not? Is it nothing to do with that? You're not being cute and avoid. Oh, I've not said the exact thing on this.
No.
Right. Cool. Because it's quite a trend in your film.
Yeah.
One guy with leg. We had bloody disabled athletes, and then the guy who survives is disabled. So.
You're right. They're all in it, but that is not my intention.
Right. So basically, the other 3 things I've got are basically the same thing: contest, games, or competitions is what I've got.
No.
A bit closer though than disabled people.
Not really.
Because the first film was a race.
Yes, it was.
Escape, and the middle one was the actual Special Olympics, and they've all been games, contests, or what have you. So none of these is the right answer.
Nope.
I was going to say somebody dying, but no, nobody dies in the ringer.
Independent movies? I don't know if Ringer's independent.
No, I don't think that's nope.
So, you don't think that's what it is?
I don't think, like, I'm just saying, like I'm saying if they were all independent, but no, that's not the theme. That is not the theme.
Is it something to do with people you've met?
Nope.
He's done that. If he's doing that again, that's
nope.
what that's going to be.
So no, none of those are right. It might all come to light in the next one.
It might do. To give us even more of a clue, has any film that Chris or I have done been in your theme?
Rattle the films off again because I can't remember.
Oh fuck!
I can't remember what I've picked.
I've got 7 seasons. Right?
This
season.
Den of Thieves. I picked that.
No.
And Scream.
Scream.
Scream. I did Scream.
No, that doesn't really fit.
Mummy Returns.
Doesn't really fit.
Beast.
Doesn't really fit.
Under Siege.
Doesn't really fit.
80 for Brady.
It doesn't fit.
Right. Okay. So no clues there then. Right. Okay.
So
the next one will expose it though. You think?
I would say so. If it doesn't, then I think the next one you're definitely going to say exactly the same things you've said already.
That happened previously as well with your theme, if I remember rightly. But yeah.
But it's not. No, the theme is blatantly obvious when I say it.
And it's not disabled people in contests.
It is not disabled people. It's not contests. It's not mentally challenged people.
Shapes. No.
All right, Ringer. Okay. Cube.
Ring. And human race isn't
human. Not quite, Chris.
Good one. Not a bad guess. Right, anyway, enough of that. I do have a theme. My theme isn't brilliant, and I will tell you if you guess it. Not that I'm saying Andy's not, but I will be kind.
You're fucking monster tonight, Bruce.
It's not like as perfect as some of our previous themes are.
That's a perfect
one. Oh, yeah. Nothing else. I might retire themes after that, really. So it's me. This was 1997, this film. We're going a year earlier for my film. I've not picked a 90s film, I don't think, in a while. I did a couple of... Oh, no, Scream. Anyway, 96, a wee bit further back than I have been doing. A film that stars a bunch of people that we've not particularly done before, and one that I, until I wrote the cast list down, had remembered Chris had mentioned recently. So, starring these 4 people, George Clooney. Don't think we've done him before.
No.
Starring Quentin Tarantino. Yes, starring Quentin Tarantino. Starring Harvey Keitel and starring Juliette Lewis, which I feel like Chris said absolutely.
Vampire thing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yes. Directed by Robert Rodriguez. The film From Dusk Till Dawn, which I had picked prior to it pipping this film to its only award that it could have won.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was happening. But yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn is my next pick.
Selma Hayek.
Salma Hayek returns to the podcast in this one as well.
Yeah,
Presumably, you've both seen it before, since you both mentioned memorable bits from it.
I think so. I've seen bits of it.
You've given away the one spoiler of vampires. It's not. I mean, it's an old film now, but yeah, this film on the outside is kind of different to what it ends up being. But yes, action-packed, sort of.
This was action-packed in the cube.
Yeah, a bit more violent as well. But yeah, that's what you've got next time. From Dusk Till Dawn. Seek that one out. You've got 7 days to watch From Dusk Till Dawn, and we'll see you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.